Hello and welcome to the Global Peace Film Festival Lives Online interview for the 2023 Festival edition. Please join me, Kelly Devine, the Artistic Director, and Nina Strike, the Founder and Festival Director, in conversation with the producer of the film Chopin, I Am Not Afraid of Darkness. The producer's name is Maciej Pawelczyk, and we welcome him to the conversation. Maciej, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And let's start by, please tell us about Chopin, I'm Not Afraid of Darkness, and also talk a little bit about your collaborators on this project, because it's a really interesting project and process that you went through to make this film.
Yes, so basically the film tells the story of three pianists preparing concerts in places connected with horrific conflicts of humanity. This is Leszek Możdżer, a Polish jazz composer and pianist. He plays near Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration and extermination camp, where obviously the Nazis killed more than 1 million people, mainly Jews, during the war, Second World War, on Polish ground. So the first country in which the concert takes place is Poland. The next place is South Korea's Singkigyo Bridge. It's a unique and symbolic place, as it was built half by the North Korean dictator and half by American army engineers in 1952. And this is a choice by Korean pianist Seo Yan-won, as his country remains divided 70 years after the Korean War. And there is a third concert. This is by Fares Marek Basmati, who was born in Syria to a Syrian father and a Polish mother. This boy emigrated to Great Britain, and he opts for Beirut in Lebanon, as he wants to reconnect with his countrymates from Syria. Obviously, he cannot go to Syria because it's in the state of war, so he plays for them in Beirut, where over 1 million refugees took refuge from the war. And he will play in the center of Beirut, ravaged by the explosion in 2020 of a fertilizer silo. It was a devastating accident, which I think some of you remember. So basically, this is what the film is about.
And how did you come to pick this as a project? And clearly there was a lot of collaboration across all of these countries. And how did you find these particular musicians?
It was tough, obviously, because for some time we were thinking with our Korean partners about making a film together, and we were looking for a topic that would be common to Poland and Korea. And I cannot find many common points of Poland and Korea, but we found one, and it was Chopin, Frédéric Chopin music is extremely popular in Korea. It was a Polish composer. But that was not enough. So we needed a groundbreaking concept. And we had many brainstorming sessions, and finally a profound idea emerged. And the bar was very high. We raised the bar very high. So we figured out we would show three pianists preparing for a series of extreme performances where nobody would expect music. So a very tricky thing, to play a concert near the death camp where more than 1 million people died. It was tough when it comes to setting up such an event. It was shocking for the people managing the museum, because it's a museum. Some of them didn't like it, but some of them somehow get convinced to this idea after we did it. I was scared as well, because playing music in such place is a daring a daring thing to do. And we had, for example, in Auschwitz, we had audience in which there were people connected with this tragedy personally. So I can say, for example, about one woman. It's a woman rescued from the Jewish ghetto in Warsaw when she was, I think, 1 year old, or a little more than 1 year old. She was smuggled from the ghetto in a small chest, you could say, by Irena Sandlerova. She's famous for rescuing Jewish people from this hell. So she put her on a carriage in this box and put a little spoon inside the basket with her name on this spoon and a year of her birth. So this was kind of a birth certificate for her. And she was rescued. Her parents died, of course, killed by the Nazis. And that's how she has this spoon until today. That's how she knows her name and her year of birth. So she is listening to this music, and she is in the audience during this concert in Auschwitz, near Auschwitz. And this is it. What can I say more? So these people, the audience, is connected somehow, more or less, closer or not so close, but still, with these tragedies, and and they listen to music and take it sometimes emotionally.
Well, the music for anyone who gets the opportunity, and I would really recommend everyone take that opportunity to seek out this film. It's quite moving, the final concert and the entire build up to it. And you mentioned that part of the inspiration came from wanting to do something with Korea and a Korean love for Chopin music, but Chopin's life is also very inspirational in terms of some of the different issues that all of the three different situations call up. Can you speak a little bit about the importance of that particular Chopin piece and Chopin's life?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we chose Chopin because he's worldwide known, that's for sure. He lived on exile too, so far as Marek Basmandi, one of the pianists of the protagonist of this film, also lived on exile because he's an immigrant. So for him, I think it's a very relevant music, Chopin's music. And to have this opportunity to play it for his countrymates in Beirut, which are the countrymates who are really tired of war and who live in poverty. This reconciliation with the past is meaningful, and it's all relevant. Chopin's music, because he has to flee. He was also an immigrant, and he lived in France. So I think, that's why we chose Chopin as well. Everything fits together.
It does. It fits together beautifully. And when people do get a chance to see this film, what would you hope that they take away from the experience of seeing it back into their own lives and their own communities? The film is very much in line, obviously, with the formula of the festival, and carries a deep message. Music connects and can be a relief. For example, it was also a relief for Auschwitz prisoners in the past. It allows us to change our perception even during the worst moments of our lives. I think it can even help people with depression to get through difficult moments and to get through difficult historical moments, and through war, for example, as well. So it can give strength
And I hope that the viewers of the Global Peace Festival will gain such strength from this screening. And what I'd like to mention that it's a very timely thing right now because we can see what's going on in the world. I live in Poland, in Warsaw, so across the border there are bad things happening. So I saw these refugees back then when we were producing this film in Beirut. So in Lebanon, there are 7 million people living, and there are 1 million refugees from Syria there right now. So I didn't expect back then what would happen in Poland, because in Poland we got almost 40 people live in Poland, and we have probably around 4 million Ukrainian refugees. So the proportion is very similar. So I didn't expect that something like that would happen, and we would have, like in a flash, in a snap of a finger, 4 million refugees would flow to Poland. So for me, it was very surprising and very relevant. Unfortunately, it happened like that this film is relevant to what's going on now.
Yes, and I too would very much recommend that people seek out this film, come to our screening at the Global Peace Film Festival, and look for it, in other places that you're showing it. It is incredibly powerful and very beautiful. The use of the music is just so touching. So what is happening with the film? Where is it? Where can people find it? And also, what's next for you and your production company?
So we have a few projects going on, and we try to make as international projects as they can be as possible. So we're currently finishing the production of a television documentary series about the hideouts of European dictators. It's more television production than art style film like Chopin, I'm Not Afraid of Darkness. So, and we cooperate with A&D UK and RTL Germany on this. And this series is also a warning. It's a warning for humanity about what awaits us if an authoritarian man comes to power. So it's about Mussolini, Hitler, Ceausescu, Stalin, Hoxha from Albania, and one guy from Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych. So this is it. And the second title, I can mention the second title, which is, attention, also about dictators. And it's based on the Amazon's bestseller called How to Feed a Dictator. So it's about the ruthless rules of these dictators, and we try to look at their history through the food that was prepared for them. So that's also a documentary series. The book is called How to Feed a Dictator, and Witold Szabłowski is my friend. And it was in the top 10 Amazon's bestsellers at one time. So we're developing that right now, and I hope that we will get it off the ground.
Well, we will certainly look forward to when you send us a notice about the availability of those two projects. Feeding a Dictator in particular sounds like a very interesting way to get into the peccadillos, the peculiarities of dictators. So thank you for mentioning those. We will stay in touch and let all of our Global Peace Film Festival social media followers know about these new projects so that they can find them as well. And we really appreciate, Maciej, that you have shared all of these insights about what brought you and your team to this important subject, and and telling us a bit more about the making of this really beautiful film that I hope everyone will seek out who is watching this. So thank you, and we look forward to the screening of Chopin, I Am Not Afraid of Darkness, at the 2023 Global Peace Film Festival. And we will see you all watching this interview today at the next Glow. Thank you.
Thank you again.